Well, hello there. Back one more time. Another video. I got 2018 SS Camaro. It's 6.2. It's a manual. I didn't want an automatic. Just shooting real quick little video. It's been almost a month of having the car. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I'm close to 1,000 miles on it now. Like I said, when I got it, it had 7 miles on it. She's been running perfect. You know, there's no real gripes. You know, I did bring up a couple of the ones I had before, as far as the exhaust note, just the sound of it at idle. It's quiet. You know, I wanted something a little louder. Did think about putting some exhaust, but now I hear that California's new exhaust law is in effect, and being up here in Washington, we tend to follow everything California does. So it's the they call liberal left coast. The war on cars, you know, that especially here in Seattle. I mean, they want to toll pretty much every road. Basically, they want to charge us toll, drive in and out of the city. They just shut down one of our big freeways here, the Alaskan Way Viaduct. They shut it down. They were worried it was going to fall in the event of an earthquake. And I understand that, you know. So you take preventative measures. So they get us on that. But then with the shutting down of the bridge, they actually made a tunnel they want to feed us all into. So they've got a 4-lane tunnel that's supposed to replace 8 lanes of a 2-story bridge. Not sure how that's going to work, but they are going to toll us for the tunnel. And you get some people that are saying, you know, what if people can't afford to toll in the tunnel? You know, some people don't have that kind of cash. They don't want to pay to ride the tunnel. And basically, literally, what they said was, well, and this came from one of our city officials, city council. Basically, if they don't want to pay the toll for the tunnel, we're just going to toll the streets around it. So they're going to get your money anyways, which takes a lot of fun out of driving. Eventually, every car out here, every road's going to be tolled, which is not. It's not something I'm looking forward to. I mean, we already have the highest gas taxes in the country. But, you know, whatever they can get money out of you, they'll take it. So, with the car, no problems, no issues. She's still running great. I love it. I'm having a blast with it. The exhaust note was something. I did have, there's one topic I did want to bring up. It's pretty much the reason I was going to shoot this video. Was the I know these are drive-by-wire cars, and I've heard ups and downs about drive-by-wire. Basically, the throttle body has a servo that goes through the electrical and all the wiring and all that, and that tells basically your throttle body when to open, how much to open. It kind of prevents you from getting too much throttle to stop when you go to take off at a light. It helps regulate how far your throttle opens. Now, I've noticed with this too, I kind of miss the older cars when they had the cable. You rev it up and your RPMs, I mean, they'd go to 3,000 or 4,000 real quick, and then they'd come back down. And now you rev these up and you watch your tachometer, and your RPMs slowly go back down. Instead of the back in the day, you'd rap on your throttle and the rap, you know, it's quick, it's fast. This drive-by-wire slows that down. I don't know if it's just the wire or if it's how the fuel injection system works, but it seems like when you rev this thing up, it takes a second for the RPMs to come back down. Now, I've been thinking about trying to go, because I had someone tell me that there's a company out there that has the cable where you can get rid of the drive-by-wire and install the cable. which actually gives you better throttle response. You're more in control of the throttle response speed. It opens a lot quicker. Now the issue I'm having with this is wondering, since this has the auto rev match, which I love. I think it's neat, it's fun. I like it on the freeway, especially if it's wet. If it's really wet, because we get a lot of rain up here. So these roads get soaking wet. I like it for the rain just because it helps with the, because this thing will, even with traction on, she'll break loose on you. So having that auto rev match really helps, I think. I like it. But my question, and hopefully someone can figure this one out and maybe dig into it. I know Matt, Lethal Garage, the Lethal Camaro. I tried to dig around his videos and see if he'd even covered this topic or if it'd come up yet. Switching this out from drive-by-wire to cable. It's going to be a different throttle body, I know that much already. But I'm wondering with the active rev match, if I'll lose the active rev match when I switch out the throttle body to go from the servo-styled throttle body to the traditional cable. I don't want to lose the active rev match. I think it's a neat feature. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of cheating if you're racing somebody, but if they don't know it, screw it. I'm wondering if I'm going to lose the active rev match if I switch out throttle bodies to the cable. That's my big concern. I'm kind of curious, because if I'm not going to lose the active rev match, I might just switch this thing out the throttle, the full-blown throttle body with the cable. With that, I know I could probably reach in and do a port and polish on the heads, the intake, whatever it's going to take, polish out the exhaust manifolds, because I really don't want to go long tubes. I'd like to, but you got heat to deal with. And you still have your catalytic converters on there. I don't know if I want to delete those, especially with, the laws, how they're changing now, how they're coming out, just changing everything on you. So I really don't know if I want to screw with the cats. I know you can gain performance with, these nice exhaust systems. You can get your performance up there, but you can also increase flow, sound, all that, literally porting and polishing your heads and your exhaust manifolds. Grind them down, polish them to where they match. So now there's the hole coming out of your head actually matches the hole going into the exhaust manifold, so they're perfect. Because usually they're not the same shape. I mean, they're a little off. One might be, you're typically, your exhaust manifolds, they're a rounder hole. And on most of your, and I haven't looked at the heads on this, I haven't pulled it apart. But typically, old school anyways, a lot of your heads, the holes on your heads were basically kind of squared almost. So you had a difference in sizes. And I'd heard, like I say, a lot of this is just old school for me. Been a gearhead for a long time. So porting and polishing the two of them so the holes now match will increase flow. Because like I say, I really don't want to avoid the warranty on this thing. I'm not sure if porting and polishing the heads and the manifolds and all that will. I wouldn't think it would, but you never know. Maybe do a couple little performance upgrades. I don't want to go crazy with a full-blown catless exhaust, especially with the law. But the main reason for the video was the question of throttle cable. Can you eliminate the drive-by-wire to go to a throttle cable, and will it still keep the rev match? Because I'm assuming the rev match is done, through the computer, obviously, but with the throttle body, because that's where it opens and closes. So I'm assuming somewhere in that throttle body, the servo in the throttle body is what controls the active rev match. So if anyone knows, if anyone has any ideas on, or if they know, if they've heard this topic before, if someone's brought it up, Texas Speed. I looked, I might just call them, actually just pick up the phone and talk to them and see what they have what kind of kits, what kind of packages, because like I say, it's going to have to be a whole new throttle body. So, I mean, unless you can just undo that servo, but I don't know if I want to get into that. But just a little question to throw out there, see if anyone's run into this or if they know anything about it, you know, how this works. One thing, another little topic, with the active rev match, I have noticed that this thing does have the first to fourth gear. If you're going slow enough in first gear, when you're leaving first, it will prompt you to go into fourth. I don't mind. I mean, sometimes you can just rev it up a little bit real quick. Just throttle up a little bit, blip the throttle a couple times, and boom, seconds right there for you. But I have noticed, and I haven't figured out exactly the RPM or the speed, but I have noticed that, hold on a minute. That the active rev match, if you have it engaged, will, I've had it happen a couple times. Like I say, I don't know exactly RPM, what speed I'm at when it happens, but I have had it on a couple occasions where I'll leave the active rev match on. I'll be in first and I'll go to take off from the light. There are times it's actually revved itself up and helped me get it into second without having to, you know, how the rev match does when you downshift, it wants to rev up for you. I have seen it a couple times where it's actually revved up, going up through the gears from first to second. It's revved up a little bit for me, which is kind of neat. I'm not sure when, or you know, the speed, like I say, speed, RPM. I haven't really studied it because it's just, there's times it happens and there's times it doesn't. It locks me out and I got to go to fourth. But then you can just downshift right to third and you're fine. But yeah, I found that kind of interesting with the rev match, that it'll every now and again it'll pick up the RPMs for you, so you can get into second. I know they have the cutout, where you, or not the cutout, but that little switch. You reach into your tranny and just put that little $20 piece, whatever, and it completely eliminates first to fourth. I don't know. I might not do it. It doesn't bother me that much. I mean, every now and again, first to fourth, there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't bother me, but seems like if you're doing over 15 miles an hour when you leave first gear, it goes into second just fine anyways. So, and hell, you know, honestly, you could probably just get away with starting in second if it drives you, you know, if it drives you that mad, just start out in second. It'll handle it, you know, it'll do it just fine. A little bit more gas or a little bit more throttle. I have a couple little thoughts on the car with the drive-by-wire active rev match. Will I lose it? You know, updating the throttle body, maybe do a port and polish, heads, exhaust. I am going to have to do something with the exhaust. I'm going to sit tight for a minute and just see with the laws how they're changing. If you know, I hate to dump $2,000 into an exhaust system on the car and have to go pull it off because I got a ticket because some politician decided to throw a new law in there to change things. And that's another little point too. I kind of commented on Lethal's page. The exhaust noise is too loud. Okay, that's where they want to find you, and they'll dig around, find out your exhaust is not stock. You know, you're running no cats, you got full-blown headers. But if it's the noise they're worried about, I'm actually a little curious. It kind of cracked me up here thinking about it, because I didn't hear anyone bring it up. Mustangs. What about your Mustangs? Because everybody, I mean, you're watching this, you know your cars. Mustangs straight from the factory can be louder than hell. So how's that going to work? Like I made the comment, you know, say you go out and you dump cash, you get you a 300R, you know, you get you a GT500. Those things are stupid loud right from the factory. All right, so you get pulled over by a cop. Says your exhaust is too loud because they put that little dB reader up there, and it's above the limit, above the amount of decibels it's allowed. Is that Ford's fault? Is that Ford's problem? Can you just forward that ticket right to Ford? How's that going to work? Because you didn't change nothing. You know, you just bought the car. You dumped 70 grand or whatever it was to buy the car, and you know, you get a ticket for it. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to play with, and you know, the reason I say Mustang is because that's typically the one that's the loudest, right from the factory. But I wonder how Ford's going to deal with this. If, you know, they're going to come up with some, well, hold on, we can exempt, you know, if it comes that way from the factory, you're exempt. And if that's the case, Chevy needs to step it up a little bit, get a little more noise out of these things. I mean, if they're going to make a factory exemption, you know, or wow, if it came that way from the factory, we can't do anything. So if that's going to be the case, then that gives Chevy the green light to actually wake these things up and make some noise, because they're just quiet. To me, it is. You know, I said it before. I miss the noise inside the car, the rumble of the foot. You know, you feel it. You know, you downshift and it gets loud inside. But I don't know, just a handful, a couple little topics real quick to bring up, get some maybe get some feedback on. It'd be nice if anyone's ever heard of the issues with the rev match and the throttle cable. I'm curious how all that works. Because if I can keep my rev match and go to a throttle cable, I'll get rid of this drive-by-wire in a minute. It's an electrical component. It's a servo. I mean, same thing. It's in a remote control car. You know, little servos, little electric motor. So, plus I think I like the throttle response of a cable better. You know, it gives you more control, more use of the throttle. It's not going to take so long for your RPMs to drop because some computer's telling it, oh, slow it down a little bit, you know. But all right, I just wanted to do a couple little questions out there, throw them out, check in, say hi, see how you guys are doing. Car's doing great. I'm going to be ordering my splitter for the front pretty soon. I'm not going to do the Z01 big fin out back because I've noticed, well, it's like the 1LE. It's slower than the SS because of all the ground effects packages. That big wing, it slows it down, it's drag. So I'm going to keep the stock fin on the back. I will do the front splitter and the side skirts. I'll throw those on. I'm probably going to louver the back window. Other than that, I'm going to leave her sit for a minute. Like I say, I'm not going to touch anything under the hood until I hit at least 5,000 miles. And even then, I got to see what's covered under warranty. I don't want to ruin the warranty. I mean, you fork out, you know, 40 grand, you know, whatever, 35, 40 grand on a car. You sure would like to have the warranty, especially when there's, you know, 10 million computers inside there telling them what to do. Computers go out. Yeah, mechanical parts do as well, but I think I'd like to keep my warranty for as long as I can. So, but that's just me. I don't have enough money to. If I had the kind of cash to just turn one of these cars into just a rat nasty track monster, that's fine. Live in the garage and just get trailered around everywhere. But for a daily driver, which this one is, I drive it every day. Between this and the bike, you know, I'm not just gonna. I didn't spend this kind of money on a car just to let it sit, you know. But I don't want to ruin the warranty. So, all right, I've done enough rambling here. I am going to take off, go put some miles on this thing. But you kids have fun, play nice, enjoy the day. You know, enjoy the fact you're still here. You know, you're around. You woke up this morning. That's a good thing. You know, you got to keep the positives. So, all right, you kids have fun, play nice, stay out of trouble, speed safely.